Stranger Bridgeland presents Stranger Bigfoot. The woods of northern Utah are full of wild animals. Deer, elk, bobcat, coyotes, and even bear and cougar call the forests surrounding Cache Valley home. But are they alone? Cache Valley in northern Utah are home to more than just the run-of-the-mill animal, and we have the stories and folklore to prove it. Stories of Bigfoot go back as far as the Native Americans in northern Utah. The natives called him Boss of the Mountains. Stories of Sasquatch passed down in oral tradition talk of giants of the mountain that are real flesh and blood creatures, but with great magic. Stories of Sasquatch taking children, and even stories of tribes going to battle with these monsters are told. Later, as the first pioneers came to Cache Valley, they came into contact with these creatures. One story tells of a group of large hairy man-beasts in Providence Canyon, scaring off pioneers as they tried to log trees for their homes. Other stories of a large hairy monster that lived on the Wellsville Mountains, and stories of these incredible creatures living on the Cache National Forest flowed through the first communities of the valley. Even as Cache Valley has grown and time has gone on, Sasquatch has never left northern Utah, and stories of the monster permeate throughout the valley and the mountains. In the early 70s, a man related a story to the BFRO, Bigfoot Research Organization, of him and his wife camping in early fall near Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo is a mountain that lays just southeast on the very edge of Cache County, near the Rich and Weber County lines. While hiking near the Monte Cristo Mountains, he and his wife were walking a ridgeline watching for deer in the evening when a large hairy creature walking on 2 feet stalked out of the tree line. The creature was nearly 8 feet tall and covered in black and reddish hair. It looked at them and then walked down the ridge and disappeared. Later that night, while he was trying to sleep, he was awoken to the creature walking around his tent and going through his stuff. That morning, the man and his wife awoke to snow on the ground and large man-like footprints all through their camp. The area near Monte Cristo, and what is called Ant Flats, has many stories of Bigfoot. One report of an owner of a cabin in the area stated, "I had an animal that kept breaking into my garbage, so thinking it must be a black bear, I purchased a bear-proof garbage can. It was steel with a heavy lock, rated to the biggest of bears. After having it out for a few weeks, I went out one morning to find a frightening sight. The lid of the bear-proof can had been completely ripped off. The strength needed to do this act was impossible to imagine. I don't know what is out there, but I know it is no bear." There are many stories, including drivers in Logan Canyon sighting the massive creature crossing the road. Most sightings seem to be between the exit to Tony Grove and the Bear Lake area. One story related to Stranger Bridgeland and written in the book Beyond Stranger Bridgeland goes as follows. I grew up in High Park, Utah, just north of Logan, Utah. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time with my buddy Trevor. He lived in Smithfield, just one town over. One of the things we liked to do was ride our bikes up to the golf course to find golf balls. On one occasion, our golf ball hunt took a strange turn. I remember being 12 years old. It was a Saturday evening at the end of April. We rode our bikes up to the golf course and made our way towards the big gully that divided the golf course in half. This was one of our favorite places to search, because 3 different holes required golfers to shoot over it. It's about 85 yards wide and full of brush and trees. We were starting to have trouble seeing because it was getting late. We looked around and there wasn't anyone around us. Quickly, we watched our step and worked our way down into the gully. I spotted something significant laying at the edge of some brush. As I got close, I realized it was a dead deer. I yelled to Trevor to join me, and I walked closer. It had not been dead very long, and it was lying on its side. The strangest part was that its head was twisted backwards a full 180 degrees. I was staring at the deer, wondering what could have done this. I heard Trevor walking down the path and towards me. I looked up to see him as he stopped dead in his tracks. Instantly, all the blood left his face, and his eyes were the size of dinner plates. He motioned to me to come with him, and he ran to the top of the hill. Without looking around, I took off after him. I caught up to him at the top of the hill, and I grabbed his shirt to stop him. After catching our breath, he explained that as I was standing near the deer, a large hairy arm had reached through the brush and was about to grab me. I was just beginning to question whether he had really seen an arm, when out of nowhere a loud guttural scream came from the gully. We looked down into the faded light, just in time to see an enormous hairy blur rushing through the trees below. In an instant we had run across the course and were racing away on our bikes, scared to death. To this day, Trevor and I are 100% convinced it was the Sasquatch that we ran into that day. Thanks to John for sharing his story with Stranger Bridgerland. Thanks to all of you for listening, and remember, if you like the stories here on Stranger Bridgerland, check out my books on Amazon and check out strangerbridgerland.com. I will have links in the description. And as always, hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any upcoming stories from Stranger Bridgerland.